and think proactively. To emerge successfully despite drawbacks from the last couple of years, you need a reliable partner that keeps a positive outlook of the future. Understand elevate your business. A reliable partner that can help you reach your goals and keep your business protected. As pioneers of telecommunications in the country, Eastern Communications has always been the solutions partner of choice for the biggest and most successful industry players in the country. At Eastern, customers come first. Our first motivation for innovation and first in our mind to serve. Our customers are the answer to our why. We aim to create healthy and lasting partnerships by identifying their needs and placing their requirements in front of everything. At the end of the day, we want to give the best possible experience for our customers. We understand that our customers have unique needs. We put the human connection in everything that we do. Our heart of service is shown through our brand of personalized services. We offer the right solutions, choose the right talent, and work with only the best partners for enterprise, small and medium enterprises, and consumer needs. At Eastern, the industries that we serve always stay ahead of the game. Our high-tech and high-touch solutions allow us to view the world through our customers' eyes and provide them the most meaningful experience. Our data, internet, and voice solutions, which forms our connectivity solutions, provide you with reliable, congestion-free connectivity when and where you need it. Attacks can happen anytime and when you least expect them. But with our security solutions, your network, your data, and your customers' data are protected. Whether it's before, during, or after an attack, we are here to ensure that data risk and security measures are implemented. As we evolve with a fast-paced digital economy, it is essential to be equipped with the most up-to-date and secure cloud computing technology. Our cloud and data center solutions ensure that you have the resources to innovate faster, collaborate seamlessly, and serve your customers efficiently. To ensure that your company resources, the devices connected to your network, can efficiently communicate with each other and other networks and enable you to effectively conduct your day-to-day business operations, we have a healthy suite of products under our network solutions portfolio. Remote work is here to stay. And as this shift in work setup continues, the most reliable business applications should be adapted. With our business applications, your employees can work remotely and maintain their productivity and efficiency. Finally, as your business partners, we provide you with consulting, maintenance, and delivery services to make sure that you have the right solutions to address your business needs with our Eastern services. We have a long-standing commitment to keep a better connected and a digitally secure country. By constantly expanding our footprint, we are reaching and bringing our services to areas where our services are needed the most. We believe that hand in hand, we can forge a much brighter future. Together, let's emerge stronger. The future of business belongs to those who adapt quickly and think proactively. To emerge successfully despite drawbacks from the last couple of years, you need a reliable partner that keeps a positive outlook of the future, understands the trends, and is able to elevate your business. A reliable partner that can help you reach your goals and keep your business protected. As pioneers of telecommunications in the country, Eastern Communications has always been the solutions partner of choice for the biggest and most successful industry players in the country. At Eastern, customers come first, our first motivation for innovation, and first in our mind to serve. Our customers are the answer to our why. We aim to create healthy and lasting partnerships by identifying their needs and placing their requirements in front of everything. At the end of the day, we want to give the best possible experience for our customers. We understand that our customers have unique needs. We put the human connection in everything that we do. Our heart of service is shown through our brand of personalized services. We offer the right solutions, choose the right talent, and work with only the best partners for enterprise, small and medium enterprises, and consumer needs. At Eastern, the industries that we serve always stay ahead of the game. Our high-tech and high-touch solutions allow us to view the world through our customers' eyes and provide them the most meaningful experience. Our data, internet, and voice solutions, which forms our connectivity solutions, provide you with reliable, congestion-free connectivity when and where you need it. Attacks can happen anytime and when you least expect them. But with our security solutions, your network, your data, and your customers' data are protected. Whether it's before, during, or after an attack, we are here to ensure that data risk and security measures are implemented. As we evolve with a fast-paced digital economy, it is essential to be equipped with the most up-to-date and secure cloud computing technology. Our cloud and data center solutions ensure that you have the resources to innovate faster, collaborate seamlessly, and serve your customers efficiently. To ensure that your company resources, the devices connected to your network, can efficiently communicate with each other and other networks and enable you to effectively conduct your day-to-day business operations, we have a healthy suite of products under our network solutions portfolio. Remote work is here to stay. And as this shift in work setup continues, the most reliable business applications should be adapted. With our business applications, your employees can work remotely and maintain their productivity and efficiency. Finally, as your business partners, we provide you with consulting, maintenance, and delivery services to make sure that you have the right solutions to address your business needs with our Eastern services. We have a long-standing commitment to keep a better connected and a digitally secure country. By constantly expanding our footprint, we are reaching and bringing our services to areas where our services are needed the most. We believe that hand in hand, we can forge a much brighter future. Together, let's emerge stronger.
And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Reimagining Resilience e-Huddle series. My name is Apple Grace Mendoza, your host for today. Our dear Ka-Eastern, just like most of you present in this webinar now, I am an entrepreneur. I am also an events host and a real estate salesperson. Now, I believe that we all share pretty much the same challenges one way or another with work and our businesses with the effects of the pandemic, especially on its early wave, right? And in my case, with real estate and the events industry I was in, it was put to a halt, especially the latter, because most of us weren't allowed to be out unless, of course, you're a medical frontliner or considered to be an essential worker, as if what we do is not essential to our own economy. But then again, those were the safety rules that we abide and follow by for our own welfare, right? So what we did, this is going to be my story with my team. So my team and we thought in real estate, if we cannot bring our clients to view the houses personally, because pictures don't cut it anymore, right? So clients would want to have sort of a feel of the house or the properties, like where it is situated, the neighboring houses too, and you know how you twist and you turn from one area of the house to another. So what we did was we merged hosting and property showing, and of course we uploaded it on YouTube. Now I know that we aren't the first ones to do it. There have been a lot of companies and brokerages who have been around in multiple platforms showing properties, right? But from our sales team's perspective, it was our way of, being resilient. It was our way of innovating and also adapting to what the current situation calls for. So after shooting the houses and uploading it, we were able to narrow down the number of houses that our clients would be interested in. So that's a plus for us. We don't need to show them 10 houses that, fit their requirement, because after seeing the house tours, they get a good look of how each part of the property look or might feel like. So it's a favorable result for us, especially now it cuts down time, it cuts down effort, and of course, gas consumption. Okay, so big credits to the house tour videos talaga. And I believe that is our sales team's story of resiliency. Now I know, our dear Ka-Eastern, that you also have your very own story of resiliency. You can very well share it with us in the chat box, because we will be even happier today if you can share your inputs with us, just like I did, okay? So what is your story of resilience? Always remember, mga Ka-Eastern, sharing is caring. So please start sharing it with us in the chat box below. And of course, while you're at it, let me just emphasize, mga Ka-Eastern, that indeed, imagination is the beginning of creation. But the question is, how do we flex ourselves to stay in business in case, God forbid, another crisis happens? How much are we willing to spend to be business ready? Or do we have the grit and the guts to reinvent our ways to make our businesses adversity ready? Well, as they say in this company, no matter what happens, the sun will always shine from the east. Eastern Communications is here to provide meaningful learning for our enterprise to continue being productive, be able to care for our employees, our communities, and our clientele despite the uncertainties that we might face again. And as we proceed with the program, mga Ka-Eastern, during our speakers' shared presentations, please do leave your comments and, more importantly, your questions in the chat box. Our Ka-Eastern team will take note of your questions, and we will do our best to have those questions answered during our Q&A session in the latter part of our program. Because learning starts when you ask questions, right? And there is no question silly enough for you to keep to yourself. And mga Ka-Eastern, you'll be haunted about it because that question remains unanswered. So please do not hold back and keep your questions coming in our chat box below. And of course, one last announcement as we kickstart this series of webinars, please take the time to visit our chat box because, okay, we are going to be, or you will be able to answer some quick questions that we prepared for all of you, mga ka-Eastern. Now, this is going to be an exciting one. So we want to make the session more fun and more memorable because we will be posting some questions in the chat for you, ka-Eastern, to answer. And after that, 10 lucky participants will get a chance to win 500 pesos worth of vouchers from Giftaway. Wow. And the winners will be announced in the chat also. So make sure that your username you used here on our webinar is easily identifiable and it is the same name you used when you were registering for this e-huddle. The questions are Eastern communications related and will also be sourced from our speakers' discussion and presentation later on. So my advice, mga ka-Eastern, keep your ears and your eyes peeled on your screens, okay? So are you guys ready? I hope you guys are ready. Please send us some emoticons or like raise your emoji hands if you are. Okay, let's see. All right, so I guess most of our ka-Easterns are ready. So here to jumpstart our discussion as we move in stealth mode from the now normal and the next normal is none other than the head of sales of Eastern Communications. Let us all welcome him with a virtual round of applause, Mr. Michael Castaneda.
Thank you, Apple. Good afternoon to all our speakers and participants. Allow me to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone for taking the time to attend today's webinar. When we first conceptualized e-huddle at the height of the pandemic, we were heartbroken when we heard about the announcements of so many business closures and massive employee retrenchment. Our team moved fast. In the midst of the fear, isolation, and widespread hopelessness, we launched e-huddle with an aim to save what was possibly left in every enterprise, the people's spirit. Today, we take the e-huddle to the next level. We really cannot predict what lies ahead in the future. What Eastern Communications and our partners can commit to you is that we will never cease to look for solutions and emerging business models to provide meaningful learning that will support and benefit all of you. Oftentimes, you can feel devastated and shattered. But at the core of it all, we can build from within, huddle together, and emerge stronger and better. May each moment of the Reimagine Resilience series count because our goal in mind is for all of you to someday take the stand and share your success story. Thank you very much, and I wish all of you a great day. God bless us all.
Thank you so much always, Sir Michael Castaneda, and maraming salamat, sir, for officially opening our Reimagining Resilience and e-huddle series. Wow! And ngayon naman mga ka-Eastern, di ba, a lot of businesses faced challenges during the pandemic. And we will all agree that one of the hardest hit by the pandemic is the travel and tourism industry. That's why we're also taking this moment as our moment of gratitude to be grateful for the great turn of events and that most of us were able to do our vacations and our staycations during the holidays, right? So may question ako sa inyo mga ka-Eastern. Now, if one of you have been to Bohol, Boracay, Batanes, Batangas, and other sunny or windy places, or maybe you even booked a hotel stay, or even better, if you brave the travels abroad, I beg you mga ka-Eastern, Please type it in our chat box and please make all of us go jealous right now. Just kidding, everyone. So we just really want to know which places were mostly visited by you, our dear Ka-Easterns, during holidays and long weekends. So that's the real reason I'm asking that, because you will be thrilled to know that our first speaker might be of great help when you plan your next vacation getaway. But before that, mga Ka-Eastern, let me ask you this one question before we proceed. How do we ensure that our favorite stress reliever, which is to travel, will continue to operate in the post-pandemic era? Well, here to take us on a journey of tenacity is a mentor for SMEs. She graduated from PUM Netherlands in 2021 for the program Restarting Tourism, and she continues to mentor under DTI and Go Negosyo. She also studied under Harvard X for entrepreneurship in emerging economies. Our next speaker is also the host for Fiesta Filipinas, an immersive online travel show under DFA, DOT, and NCCA. Mga Ka-Eastern and everyone, let us all welcome her with a big virtual round of applause, the CEO of Geron Travel and Tours, Ms. Chal Lontoc-Del Rosario.
Thank you so much, Apple. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here today. And let's start and get on with my presentation in hopes that a lot of you will be learning and taking home from everything that you will be hearing from me today. So this is Reimagining Resilience series. We will be talking about from turbulent to blue skies, the future of travel post-pandemic. So before we talk about the future, I would like first to kind of start with the past, just a little bit of it. I'm sure a lot of you already had a lot of talks, especially during the early on stage of the pandemics, about resilience and what other ideas there are to get through COVID-19. But I just wanted to share a very personal experience. Being in the tourism industry with Geron Travel, I came across this particular graphics from a dear mentor, that's Dean Pax Lapid, and he posted this on 2020. So he's a really, really good source for information about, you know, where things are headed. And so, and he is also my mentor. So when he posted this, you could understand how worried I got as well. It says here, potential winners and losers in the short term. But take note, this graphics from Decode came out during 2020. So of course, the winner is medical supply and services, without a doubt, and for obvious reasons. And when you read through this particular graphics, we head on over to the bottom, the most red one, and it says tourism and leisure. And not too far away from that is aviation and maritime. So tourism and leisure being the loser, in other words, I'm sure, you know, it kind of pulled my heartstrings, but not in the right way. I used to always joke, if you want to feel better, talk to me. I'm in the travel industry, so nothing could be worse. And this graphics really showed that. But of course, this is something that I felt for and really worried about on the early stage up until around 2021 first, second quarter. But this is no longer the case. So before we move over to the present and I take you on to the future of blue skies, I want us to understand the title a little bit. So we were talking about turbulence, and I will be showing you a video that will actually just take us through what turbulence is all about. Now, yes, it will sound technical, but I want you to use this as a metaphor to move on to the blue skies that we will be discussing. So first, turbulence is a violent or unsteady movement of air or water or of some other fluid. It could also mean, you know, when we use it in a sentence, a conflict or confusion. I, for one, actually love turbulence. I got lucky early on this year. I got to fly a plane early this year, one of my big dreams. And this is something that you learn. Similar to risks, you cannot do away with turbulence. There's no such thing as completely zero turbulence, and you're going to find out why. Again, I just want to remind all of you, it might sound a little technical. I'm not trying to make you a pilot and have you the same dream as mine, but this can really help you understand what turbulence is all about, and then play with it as a metaphor for your current careers, work, and lives. So let me just get on and play the video. Here we go.
It can feel like the scariest part of flying, but turbulence is no cause for alarm. Turbulence is a sudden change in airflow. It can be caused by a number of factors. The most common cause is turbulent air in the atmosphere. Jet streams trigger sudden changes in wind speed that can rock the plane. Another type is thermal turbulence. It's created by hot, rising air, usually from cumulus clouds or thunderstorms. Mechanical turbulence is caused by the landscape. Mountains or tall buildings can distort the wind flow in the sky above them. Airplanes can also create turbulence. The wings cause wake turbulence as it passes through the air. This can affect planes flying behind one another. It's why planes avoid taking the same flight path on takeoffs and landings. Pilots and air traffic control do a lot to avoid turbulence. But even when they do run into it, the risk is low. Modern aircraft are built to withstand even severe turbulence. They can quickly rise and fall up to 100 feet. As a result, turbulence hasn't caused a plane crash in over 40 years. Unfortunately, it has been on the rise. Since 1958, turbulence rose 40 to 90% over Europe and North America. Studies suggest global warming could cause it to be worse by 2050. When booking seats, aim for ones closest to the wings. These will be the smoothest in turbulence. For now, trust your pilot, be smart, and buckle up.
Okay, I know that was very technical, and we're here to discuss, certain data points that can help you understand where the travel industry is heading. But I really felt that this was very important because of the metaphors that it could bring. First and foremost, when the onset of COVID took place, or when COVID happened, I used a lot of metaphors to get us through in terms of business, in terms of mind setting, to be able to get through. So for example, before you can put on your oxygen mask, before you can put on another person's oxygen mask, this is the common announcement when you're on board or airborne, you have to put yours on first. So it's the same with what you're seeing right now with turbulence. There's no such thing as zero turbulence. We could be post-pandemic, hopefully soon. But even then, it doesn't mean things will not get rocky. There's going to be a lot of things to learn, not just in the industry, but in any other industry that there is. So I wanted to just give that mindset for all of you, that there are many ways how a turbulence takes place. So you heard their jet stream just because there's an airplane ahead, or mountains or buildings. But there was one key thing there that is very much related to my discussion today. During the end, if you saw and heard, it is expected to have for us to have more turbulence in the next few years. And that has a lot to do with global warming. So, and that is a lot related to our blue skies post-pandemic. So let me move on. So I want you guys to think about that, the turbulence we were talking about, and then relate it metaphorically through your businesses or through your career path and even through your life. How can pilots avoid turbulence? So it says here, understanding the causes of turbulence is one of the best methods for avoiding it, because there are different types of turbulence. Knowledge is critical. You can avoid inadvertently entering turbulence through training, practice as you become a knowledgeable pilot. Learn to anticipate the turbulence, understand how and where turbulence forms, and the procedures for your aircraft. I'm not just discussing it because of my love for aviation, but also because this is very key. Before we get into blue skies, this is exactly also what we have to take note of. Technically, or somewhat being our own pilots of our lives, of our careers. So we have to know what causes it. We have to know the different types that there are. We have to actually train for it as well. I think after 2 years of COVID, most of us are quite trained already, hopefully, and we have to anticipate it. You know, I've given so many talks from, especially during this pandemic, not just to the travel industry, but even to the finance and to insurance companies. And I always say there's no such thing as zero risk. You can try to avoid risk, you can transfer the risk, you can minimize the risk, but there's no such thing as zero risk. And for today's talk, it's the same thing. There's no such thing as no turbulence. You can try to avoid the turbulence, as you saw, by learning your flight path ahead of time and knowing your direction. You can try to minimize it. Of course, you can't really transfer it, but there are these ways that you can move around it, but there's no such thing as zero turbulence. Even with clear blue sky, sometimes, you know, when you ride the plane and you wonder, hold on, teka lang, there's no storm, it's not super cloudy, blue skies right outside of your window, and yet you start feeling a little jump, right? So keep that in mind. Now, from the past, I want to move on to present and somewhat future. So after setting, giving you a little bit of mindset, I want now to push on with data. It's so important to always train ourselves to have clear data to be able to move forward. So I'm going to talk about domestic tourism first. Everyone wants to go travel. To every one of you listening right now, I'm sure if I ask you, do you want to travel? You will say yes. You have to say yes. How can you not, right? It doesn't matter if it's domestically or internationally. All of us already want to travel. It says right there, everyone wants to go travel. And we have the data for it, okay? So 2019, OFWs, this is pre-pandemic, OFWs all over the world, there was 2.2 million of them who traveled all around the world. So this is just to give us a base of, in terms of numbers and data, pre-pandemic, which we can use all throughout. Inbound tourists, means tourists coming in our country, was 8.2 million. Okay, just to give you a little bit of an idea, Indonesia, inbound tourists was around 16 million, but that's because they have Bali, which is really very famous for Westerners, Europeans. And then Taiwan had 11 million. So we're a little bit below, but 8.2 million is our number. Of course, we were targeting higher than that each year. We created 482.15 billion visitor receipts in 2019, which is an increase of 18.80% from 2018, which means that the trajectory is, of course, going up. So receipts mean anything spent in relation to travel. See how essential the tourism industry is? We don't just touch within ourselves in the industry. It's not an echo chamber. We actually interact with restaurants, with a lot of entertainment industry, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of touch points. That's why the receipts, or the visitor receipts, is that big. 482 billion visitor receipts. We are essential. And then of course the pandemic happened, COVID took place, OFW was still out and about, but it dropped to 800,000 of OFW departures, which means that's more than half, or close to half, but still below that. Inbound tourists from approximately 8.26 million foreign tourists coming to the Philippines in 2019, the figure dropped to just about 1.5 million in 2020. So that's what COVID did. Okay, that's what the pandemic did to the travel industry. And that's just here in the Philippines. That's way below half. Check your math. Is it 1/8, right? Check your fractions. Okay, but what I just wanted to show you in the picture is that how much we really got affected. Come 2021, data from DOT showed that tourism receipts, this is just from April to September. We do not have the one from January to March, okay? Reached 3.1 billion. 3.1 billion, up by 91%, or 91.6% to be exact, from 1.6 billion generated in the same period last year. So if you want to put a comparison, what it's just trying to say is that it went up. Okay, it went up from 2020 to 2021. But of course, if you look at the drop in terms of receipts, we had 482 and we went down to 1.6 billion. What a stark difference that is. OFW travels was at 1.34 million. So we increased it from the 800,000 of 2020. And this year, of course, the data, of course, we just finished the first quarter. So what it's just trying to say is that we've opened borders. So imagine 2020, 2021, these were the times wherein our borders were closed. We were not open to foreigners coming into the Philippines, but now our borders are open, and so are other countries. Their borders are also open, which means there are outbound travels, more outbound travels for our OFWs as well. But of course, we're not just talking about the OFWs. The other numbers here pertain to leisure travel too, which they said would really, really be hurt. And it is still very much hurt, if you could see. But if you look at everything as a whole, it's still going up. Now we move on to international travel. 2019, 1.5 billion international tourist arrivals were recorded all around the world. In 2019, that's globally. That is a 4% increase from the previous year, from 2018. 2020, I'll mix in a little bit of 2021 here. Global tourism experienced a 4% upturn in 2021. So it went up during 2021 compared to 2020. So the numbers are, to be exact, 415 million for 2021 versus 400 million during 2020. So still, there is still growth. However, international tourist arrivals, or the visitors coming in, were still 72% below pre-pandemic year of 2019. They say there's two ways to look at this. Remember, the glass is full, or the glass is half full, or the glass is not half full. So it's up to you how you want to see it. But to me, it just means there's still so much room for growth. 2021, the economic contribution of tourism in 2021, or the GDP, as we like to measure it, is estimated at $1.9 trillion, above the 1.6 trillion in 2020. But still, of course, very much below pre-pandemic value of 3.5 trillion US dollars all around in terms of GDP. So it means we're still far away from pre-pandemic numbers, but we are growing. In 2022, this year, the United Nations World Tourism Organization UNWTO predicts international tourists grow between 30 to 78%. So again, the main highlight here is that there is growth. So blue skies, maybe now we're in white, blue, a little bit of gray, but it will definitely get to bluer skies. I hope that sets the tone for everyone on what type of blue skies we are talking about. So now I really want to push it towards the future, and we're going to go radical with this one. I want everyone here to think big, think crazy. If you see this poster right here that I'm flashing, the Jetsons, I don't know how old all of you are, but this was during my time, and that means way, 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 way back. And if you remember it, I'm sorry, that means you're as old as I am. So the Jetsons was a cartoon shown before that really portrayed or would showed the crazy, this was considered the crazy future still back then. And if you see here, there were robots, spaceships. Robots was an actual helper of the Jetsons family, and so on and so forth. So what it means is that I'm showing this to show you that, you know, it used to be just an idea before, but this is actually closer to your reality right now. And all throughout the rest of my presentation, you're going to see why. I'm going to be talking about AI, robots, all related to travel also. So yeah, if you know the Jetsons, type away in the chat box, raise your hands. Thank you for relating with me. If not, that's fine. At least you see the poster. This was the cartoons before if you want to talk about the future. Now, this is at present and in the near future. Now that we've thought big, I hope you did imagine what a crazy, crazy future in travel would be. Maybe it's not so crazy after all, because look at this. Hypersonic travels is already happening. When I say hypersonic travels, back in 2016, I flew to Houston, and the tourism department there took us around, and they did mention to me that they were building airpods or airports that would take people to travel from one continent to another in just 1 to 2 hours. And I thought, really, you know, that sounded crazy. But if you Google this one right now, there are companies currently that are already preparing hypersonic travels that would take you from New York to Hong Kong in 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. Imagine that. And not just one company. There are several, around 2, 3, 4 companies out there in the US in particular. So this is one of the futures of travel, and it's on the works. The peg is at around 2030 for this to happen. Next is commercial space travel. I'm sure you guys heard about this one way or another. The second picture that you see in the middle on the right side, well, my right that I'm seeing right now, is actually the first commercial space travelers. Those that were able to fly, but they were not really astronauts. They have different careers. And it's happening already for a hefty price, of course, but it's still being worked on so that later on, it would be afforded by people and it would be part of tourism, a unique experience. So I know this would sound crazy 10 years back, but with the science that we have now, this is already the present, not even the future. So it may not just be blue skies. It can even be outer space, right? And last but not the least, and this is the most important one here, currently Airbus is developing. So Airbus is, of course, a brand, one of the airline brands. Airbus is developing the world's first zero emission commercial aircraft by 2035, which means carbon footprint will be lessened. There are carbon footprint calculators if you want to do this for fun online. Just type carbon footprint calculator, and you can actually take a test, and it will tell you where you make the most impact on in terms of your carbon footprint. I thought it would be food, because if you eat a little bit of meat or a lot of meat, then you would be heavy on that. Or maybe if you have bad habits like smoking, you'd be heavy on that. But it turns out more people are heavy on their carbon footprint because of their travels, because they fly airplanes, they take trains, or even buses. So go ahead, take that. I don't need to send you a link right now. There's so much calculators online because this is a hot topic. And the reason why I'm highlighting on this is because this is the future of travel. This is the trends. These are the studies. These are the talks, the cool topics, the hot topics, whatever you want to call it. But this is the future of travel, all about sustainability. And we'll talk about it more and more in a few. I put here the word destination stewardship because that is the word. Travel, or for most industry, I hope, is not just going to be about personal, experiences or us having fun, but rather it will be more about us trying to take care to be the stewards of tourism for generations to come. So from crazy ideas, I hope you saw that now. Oh, okay, they're not too far. They're already actually happening. And the reason I'm presenting this to you first, before I talk about, things that could relate more to your businesses or to your careers, is just to explode your mind and then bring it back down to earth and realize it is already happening. This is the present, not even just the future. So let's talk about the future of travel post-pandemic. Because of what happened to us now, sometimes I forget that there's still a pandemic. Sometimes, it's nice to think that way. But yes, we still have it. And it's not going to be the same rate for each country. Different countries will be probably endemic already very soon. And then the latter, towards the end, other countries will come in. So it's not something that you're going to have everyone coming together or there's a fine line, a finish line. So unfortunately, there's no finish line that we're going to see. It's going to happen, like watercolors mixing, two colors mixing. There's no definite starting point and end point, but we're starting to feel it, right? Compared to 2020, because we're all learning from it. So the future of travel post-pandemic, and a lot of people have written about this, but I'm going to narrow it down to something that I personally believe. Having taken my classes as a mentor, because I do mentor for DTI as well as for Go Negosyo for SMEs. This mindset of mine came from, of course, my mentor as well, Emily from PUM Netherlands. And this is based on data. These are not just on feelings. Why this is the future of travel post-pandemic. So let's start off with the first one here, sustainability as a driving force. So what is sustainability? It's actually just 3 P's. And you can keep this in mind. It's very simple. It's people. That's us. That's our communities. That's our story, our heritage, our culture. Planet. That still includes us, but more of our environment, wildlife as well. And then progress. But actually, I like progress to be profit as well, because there's no such thing as progress if you're not making a profit, right? Let's get real. You can't call it a sustainable business if you can't sustain it. And to sustain it, you'll need profit. So these 3 things, people, planet, and progress, will be the pillars of sustainability that we can remember to use, okay? To remember what travel should be. Next is second, focus on unique and quality experiences. So it's all about making meaningful moments. After being locked up for so long, experiencing this quarantine, some people even are just starting to travel. Everyone is looking for value because they will be spending their hard-earned money and they want to make meaningful moments. So they're not going to just travel with anyone. They will choose who to travel with as well to make meaningful moments. I don't think any one of us would like to travel with frenemies, just random people, right? You're going to choose people that you love and care about, and you want to make sure that the experience will be beautiful, okay? But also, take note, Instagrammable, okay? So I'll discuss that more later. And last but not the least, and this is so key because this is the one that makes the picture so clear for us on what the future of travel post-pandemic is the fusion of technology and travel. It's all about high tech and high touch. But remember, it has to be an and, A-N-D. You cannot just make it high tech. People will not love that. And you cannot just make it high touch, because the risk of getting left behind and, you know, frustration as well in terms of usage and experience. So let's talk more about these three, since our topic is about moving on from turbulence to blue skies. And this is what blue skies look like. So let's start off first with sustainable travels, people, planet, and progress. I want you guys to think about, how do we affect the wildlife, environment, and the planet with our travels, with our usual travels? How do we actually affect them? As we grow, as we innovate, we turn to also build more, and we turn to push aside, right? We tend to push aside communities, cut down trees, so on and so forth. Now, it might sound cheesy to some, but this is the reality. More and more people are actually making their choices based on green travels, especially Europeans. So they don't just travel and, you know, go to any place without thinking twice. Who is the supplier? Who is this property? Are they making a better impact for the earth? And that's why you have OTAs, or online travel agents, or platforms, booking engines as well, wherein you see actually green leaves or sustainable travel for this particular package. It's not just a marketing plot or greenwashing, as they call it. It is real, because people, there are studies that people are really making their choices between two properties with almost the same price, one being a sustainable one and the other is just a famous brand. More and more people are choosing the first, or the latter. Okay, so if you see in my first photo, this is a sample of a hotel. How can they actually be more sustainable? Well, if you notice, when you actually book through hotels nowadays, they don't give you your toothbrush. You have to ask for it with the front desk. And sometimes it could be irritating. Sometimes you feel like, they're just trying to save and not spend too much. But really, it is trying to help not just the property itself to be more sustainable, but even the guests or the consumers, right? Because the first step actually to sustainability, or the best step, is to refuse, right? So if you don't have your toothbrush there, then you don't need to take it, especially if you brought your own. Shampoos and all these toiletries are not in single-use bottles anymore. More and more establishments, even the bigger brands, I know Marriott has done it, and so many other chain of hotels have chosen to make sure that, you know, they have those that are refillable and can be reused. Towels, you'll always see that signage. If you don't need to replace, thank you, but if you do, feel free to call us. So the comfort is still there. You can always just tell them to clean your room, or you can just leave the sign and leave the sign and they'll know, or you can choose not to have it clean, because that takes a lot of energy as well. So this is just an example of the easier steps, which used to be very hard, mind you, because the properties were very scared. What if the guest gets turned off, right? We're a 5-star hotel and here we are doing this. You know, are we just penny pinching, trying to make a save? No, these are real steps and baby steps right now, because the bigger ones are properties already going for solar energy, finding ways to really use better water, even designing the architecture of properties to be able to, you know, take in natural sunlight, promoting travels through biking, so on and so forth, planting trees, and all of these things. That's why you have the mix of a lot of staycations with farmcations or farm vacations, all of these sustainable things wherein they plant and then they can bring it back, right, to the restaurant, and then they use it as their marketing as well, in hopes that it's not just greenwashing. Greenwashing, by the way, is just using all of these sustainable methods, you know, just for pure marketing, but they're not really practiced in full. So people get confused. So just so you know, there's even whitewashing already. But anyways, moving on, let's talk about now people. So that's the planet side, right? How about people? Oh, by the way, don't forget wildlife as well. Meaning, is this property going to affect, or is this particular tour going to affect animals? And that's why safaris are a bigger hit, especially to Europeans and Westerners, because it's not zoo-based. We are the ones watching the animals in their environment, not us, putting them in a zoo and watching how they move around. It's no longer as fun or even ethical. So now let's move on to people and communities. So yes, this is me. I currently host a show, Fiesta Filipinas, and we talk about the different fiestas that promotes culture. And this comes in the sustainable travel for people because it's a very good example. This is Basilan. I know to some people, they might, you might have the preconceived notion that Basilan's not safe. Not true. Actually, pre-pandemic, a lot of foreigners have been visiting Basilan as compared to us Filipinos. Can you imagine that? And what they do is really nice because it's a good example of how we are able to make sustainable travels with the people and community. So of course, Basilan is also known for their weavers. I believe it's Yakan, if I'm not mistaken, Yakan weavers, or whichever type of weaving. We even have our national treasure who lives there, and she is a weaver and has a family of weavers. So what they do is that they incorporate it in their tours. You get to visit the community. You get to try weaving yourself. So there's still experiential part of it. But also the culture and the heritage is preserved, which means the younger generation does not need to look for, other jobs that they might feel is cooler, because they would understand, hold on, this is cool. I want to continue my heritage. I want to be able to learn weaving and continue, what has been passed down for centuries. So this is just one of the examples for that. Now, I want to move into profit and progress. I always want to emphasize on this because oftentimes people think sustainable businesses is all about, donations, being an NGO. No, that is not sustainable. And that's why a lot of sustainable businesses fail, by the way. It's because they don't understand that to be in the travel, also in the travel industry, to be sustainable, you also have to be profitable. That is sustaining it. So I love this last part. This is progress or profit, whichever you want to use. This is an example of one of our suppliers in Giron Travel for our domestic travels. We use a company that are mountaineers. So we have that sector in the market as well of corporate clients who want to climb Mount Pulag or just do an easier climb. And we try to arrange it for them, put the brand and all. But of course, when the pandemic happened, they were very much affected. But they were able to innovate and still create profit. And now that climbing is happening, they added to their stream of profit or stream of incomes. Okay. So how do they do that? Well, since they already work with different communities from different mountains or from different climbs that they have, these mountaineers reached out, learned about the culture of these tribes, of these communities, and created meals based on the local experience. And they packed it using banana leaves. Very well done, looks very beautiful. It tells you the story, the ingredients of what you're eating. And now that climbing is open, they used to just, take care of the climb and then you probably eat somewhere with restaurants. Now they added a new stream of income, which is to sell these meals themselves, but also while still helping the communities. They also give a portion to them because these communities are creating the meals themselves. And for example, as you can see in this photo, it says here kandiga, which is a kind of meal for a particular tribe or a particular community where you are climbing. So there's a lot of personalization, customization that is happening, but also the progress is there. And when we say progress, we don't just mean us. We bring in everyone along with us with that progress. So it's not just the mountaineers, the owners of this business. It's not just us as well, because we get to tell the story and sell it as travel agents, but also the communities who create this. They're able to continue on with their heritage as well. And this meal will live on, but also they get to earn, right? So progress means everyone. It's inclusive. It's not just one particular sector. Okay, now we move on to the next. Unique and quality experiences. Okay, of course, this has been happening for so long already. If you ask yourselves, what's your dream travel? I'm sure we all have one, right? Even pre-pandemic. But right now, the stress for it is even greater. People are looking for trips of a lifetime. We don't even need to look far at studies. Just ask yourself, where do I want to go? What do I really want to experience? Trips of a lifetime can mean bucket lists. It can mean exotic spots. And when I say exotic spots, yes, fortunately or unfortunately, this is also because it's driven by TikTok, Instagrammable places. People want to get pictured, want to share, not really to show off, but they want to share their experience because it makes them happy. It makes them excited, right? So trips of a lifetime are bucket lists, exotic spots, but people also really want to make moments and memories. This is what we mentioned earlier on. You want to be able to make sure, because a lot of psychology goes into it. Having experienced COVID, we learned that life is so short, that it could just go in a snap. We learned that the impossible, because we thought it only happened in the movies, right? Pandemics. I hope though that, zombies stay only in movies, but who knows, right? But because of this afterthought that, wow, it could happen. Puede pala. We realize life could be so short and we want to make it more meaningful. And that's why you have in the US the great resignation that they call. The great resignation is a lot of people not wanting to go back to work physically and realizing, I'll take a smaller pay as long as I'm comfortable and I get to be with my family at home and spend more time. Instead of traveling back and forth to the office, I get to spend more time with my loved ones. And there are more job offerings for this because of the pandemic. And just look at us. Instead of you being in a conference room in a restaurant, we're actually meeting all online still, right? Even though it's open already. So people are choosing to make more moments and memories. Traveling with family as well. Bleisure. What is bleisure? Actually, pre-pandemic, 2019, bleisure was the word pegged for the travel industry. I attended this huge seminar in Shanghai, and this was the push. Bleisure. It's actually business and leisure combined. Little did we know that the pandemic would happen, and people thought that, oh no, business travel would die. It somewhat did in terms of people having to travel just to meet, just to do meetings, right? But it didn't really disappear. What it did is it pushed leisure even more. Now, if I'm going to travel for business, I'm going to make sure to do a lot of leisurely things, whether it's shopping or even touring for a few days, trying new restaurants, so on and so forth. So leisure is something that I personally believe in. I just got back from Dubai, just a few days back, and this is what I did. I was with my family. I had 2 young boys. During the morning, I had meetings with my partners. We would meet face to face. And then during the rest of the afternoon, I would be going around and just enjoying. So leisure, business and leisure mixed together. Smaller groups and intimate travels. A lot of this has to do, and I won't hide the fact, because of the Chinese market. Given that there is, COVID still, and because of the pandemic, the tourism industry was enjoying a lot of these Chinese groups. They would come in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of buses, chartered flights, as what we call them. And they would come in and everything would be laid out in these travels. And we were getting spoiled by it. This isn't just in here in Asia. I'm talking about cruises. An entire cruise line changing their itinerary because they were catering to this type of market, not just because of the Chinese. I'm talking about bigger groups, hundreds, 200s, 300s, 1,000, just renting an entire cruise ship, or traveling this way because of incentives or MICE, as we call it, meetings and so on and so forth. And this was the trend. And the money was big, of course. But at the same time, the essence of meaningful travel was getting lost. The essence of preservation. There would be overcrowding. You cannot see a certain iconic spot because it would just be crowded. You'd have to Photoshop people out just to make your photo look nice, right? So of course, there's less of that now, simply because, there's a pandemic. But more and more people are realizing, even the supplier side, even the consumers, that, oh, it does make more sense. It helps. And people are more conscious, to travel in smaller groups, intimate travels. When I say smaller groups, you can still travel, by 20 in 20s, or 10 people, that's fine. But people are just choosing to make it more intimate, with people that we really care about. And this is truly happening. Gone are the days that you have troves and troves and troves of buses. You really have people not just traveling for their safety, to keep it small, but also they want to make it more meaningful. And last but not the least, generational travels. Of course, there's a lot of kinds of travel. You've got the Gen Z travel, you've got the millennials, you've got the solo travelers, you've got the luxury travelers, and you've got the backpackers, the flashpackers, backpackers who have the money and capacity with their gadgets, so on and so forth. There's a lot of types of travel. But generational travel has always been there, but this is the push already in the future of travel, meaning people will travel more and more with different generations. We will be a family, again, smaller groups, intimate travels, but I will have my Lola and Lolo, my grandparents. I will have my kids with me. So you could just imagine how an itinerary would be. What the kids will enjoy, maybe the parents won't enjoy, and all the more the grandparents won't enjoy. Or I could be with my cousins traveling, but we would be in different ages. So Gen Z will not enjoy the same thing as maybe the millennials, or cannot relate to certain things, right? So the offerings should be able to grasp all these different generations in one itinerary. Okay, so I want to just give you certain examples. Here we have Cappadocia, the famous picture of, balloons in Cappadocia, Turkey, because that seems to be in the bucket list of most people. Iceland, seeing the Aurora Borealis. So it's not about, I want to go to Hong Kong to go shopping. It's really about meaningful moments. What will you do there? What will you see? What will you experience? Yes, this is me as well. I want to showcase that we do have this. When I posted riding a Vinta, I'm not sure again if you guys still remember a Vinta, but I'm sure in your Hekasi books or your Civica books, you encountered a Vinta. When I posted this, so many people wanted to tour it, wanted to experience it, because we thought we'd only see it in the textbooks, right? But a lot of people actually have this. They didn't know actually it was in their bucket list until they saw it when I posted it, that you can actually ride a Vinta and experience it in Zamboanga. So it's bringing your textbooks and bringing it to life. So these are the unique experiences that people want to be able to share and experience for themselves. And last but not the least, one of the most important ones is technology and travel fusion. So let me just run through currently what's already happening, so you know that the future is now. The blue skies is actually now. It will just get bluer and bluer and bluer, but it's already happening now. So OTAs, online travel agents, you already have their websites. Technology comes in because the user experience is already intuitive. Of course, big data and analytics, because we hold so much information. You're talking about inbound, outbound travelers coming in and out. Where do they like to go? How many people here? What are they choosing there? The passport details, so on and so forth, inputting all their preference and their choices, customizing it. That's big data right there. And analytics that could be used in so many ways. And the travel industry is learning to use that. Website optimization, chatbots. Okay, now this is where high tech and high touch happens. If these were just purely chatbots that were not refined, this would be high tech side. But we all know how frustrating it could be, to just be chatting with a chatbot, especially if the AI that it has isn't so polished yet. So it needs that added touch to still come in. Okay, so airports, digital kiosk, you no longer need to line up for checking in. You can already pre-check in. You can already get your vouchers. You can already get so many other things when you check in, and do it without the assistance of a person, right? Your boarding pass is printed right there, then and there for you. Commercial grade Wi-Fi, you cannot, no matter how meaningful your travel or slow travel that you want to do, you cannot do away with Wi-Fi. This is already part and parcel of everything that we need, okay, in our lives. pre-check-in queues, pre-check queues, Wi-Fi and location analytics, sentiment analysis. A simple example also of this is, you know, when you go to the immigration, certain countries, you can already rate the immigration officer with just pointing a smiling face, sad face, or just a plain face. Like, masungit tong immigration officer na to. And we can get already a lot of data from that, right? Because these are the people who open up the borders. They're the first locals that you see. Another thing is the hotels, the hotel industry, of course, check-in kiosk as well. It might sound ridiculous, but there are already a lot of, not a lot, but a few of the properties with robots, not just to check you in, but if you want to call in for extra towels, for meals, it does get delivered by a robot already. Especially if you're calling in at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., a robot will come in knocking. Okay, keyless mobile entry. This is already happening and very current. Just everything through touch, or using your phone already. You can already pre-check in, tell them already what you want. I want this, I want this, I want that. Please take out cable. No need for this, no need for the ref. Please make sure it's stocked up, my mini ref. And when you come in, it's already done. Guest Wi-Fi analytics, personalized streaming services, inventory management. Of course, this is in the back end side already of the technology. It's for the purveyors, it's for the suppliers already as well. Voice assistance room service. There's a lot more to this. For the flights, in-flight Wi-Fi. Okay, so now you can use, we all know this already, you can buy Wi-Fi, sometimes it's free. BYOD entertainment. What's BIOD? Bring your own device entertainment. So being able to connect your device to the airplane's systems in terms of entertainment. Transit and baggage alert. As soon as you land, you already get alerts. Where is your luggage? You can easily spot it. What terminal or what carousel will it come out in? Retail shopping connected. You can even shop. So on and so forth. There is so much happening in terms of technology and travel fusion. But what's important to remember is you cannot separate it. You cannot separate high-tech from high-touch. It has to be combined. It has to have that service, that heart, that care, and still be very efficient thanks to technology. So over on the upper corner of my presentation, you're going to see a girl with her computer. Pre-pandemic, the word digital nomad, you know, came across. People thought these are the people who would just go to Bali for 3 months and work. They were usually website developers, and you know, it kind of seemed like a very weird thing to do. But now this digital nomad word or phrase actually evolved into something. Anyone can be a digital nomad now. You can actually work from anywhere. Just carry your laptop if work permits it, and you can travel. And of course, you're going to need all of these fusion of technology as well. So I'm going to make you watch something of what blue skies of the future can also mean. The seamless interaction of technology, still with the personalization and customization, and really trying to understand our guests. This is a video from a hospitality school. I believe it's from Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, here it is. Let me play it.
Hello, Eleanor. I hope you will enjoy your hotel concept trial this weekend. Remember to turn in your assignment by next Monday. EHL's hospitality partners are counting on your feedback before going to market.
So maybe not very Jetsons, but still you saw in the start 2033. That's because this is really going to happen. Okay, more and more seamless fusion between technology and the world of travel will definitely take place. So with that, I want to give you a real personal example of this. So when the pandemic happened, we wanted to find ways to be able to help, not just to help, but even to still keep the industry afloat. Although it takes time to build, we were able to create a combination, a good collaboration between several companies. So that's ours, Chiron Travel, and Served Manila, and Wonder Collab, which is actually a recording company. See that, Cinematica, a production company as well. And we put something together that we didn't realize could make a lot of difference. And what it is that it's a 360 way of traveling. You don't need to go down your car. You're just touring using your mobile device, using voice-activated tourist guide or travel buddy. And while having that, we still didn't lose the high touch side. We would send you a travel kit wherein you could experience from each different spot that you will see, something to accompany you in terms of taste, in terms of scent, in terms of sight, or even in terms of everything that you'll be hearing. So it's really all senses on board. And this idea, we submitted it as well to UN WTO, one of my sources for my data earlier on. So this is really United Nations for the travel world. And we were able to be a semi-finalist, the only one actually in Asia. And because the winners were actually, the usual from Europe and from Western countries. And this one is called Tour It Yourself, TIY. And this is just a sneak peek of what the future of travel can be with the right fusion of technology and of people and of unique experiences, everything I discussed, and still making it sustainable, helping communities. All right. So I hope you enjoy this. This is a quick 1 or 2 minutes only. Here we go. Let's watch it.
You have never been on a tour like this from the makers of multi-sensory explorations. Tour at your own pace. Tour at your own time. Tour safely with your favorite people. Tour just inside your car. Introducing DIY Tour It Yourself. A pioneering personal tour encounter complete with a QR code activated map, audio and video guides, audio experiences.
Close your eyes. You're walking by yourself down a busy street.
Food coupons, special digital map itinerary, and an immersive box kit delivered to you before you start. And the first ever Tour It Yourself is the drive-through Manila tour. How does it work? Your complete kit will guide you to the stops. Enjoy it inside the car and encounter Manila like never before. From Manila's famous sunset to the historical CCP complex to the mysterious door of the San Agustin Church and many more, you're in for an unforgettable ride. Your tour is waiting. DIY Tour It Yourself. Drive through Manila tour. Book a kit and tour today.
So yeah, there it is. So nothing wild, but still very doable, but you still have the right fusion of, learning, taking in our learnings from the pandemic. For example, the QR code is something the Filipinos learned to really use during the pandemic and, create opportunities because we're going to make you visit restaurants. We're going to make you experience other places. There are studies, that not even studies, actual data actually, that most foreigners, especially when we open up, don't even pass through Manila anymore. They just use it as the entering hub and they go straight. If there's a direct flight to Cebu, why not do that? Anyway, they're after the beaches. So all of these things in Manila are just a transit. We just become a transit, right? Why? Because if my city is already beautiful, why do I have to see Manila? That's what they usually say. So we're trying to create also these unique experiences, memorable ones, keeping it safe and still touching on other communities. I hope you enjoyed that example. I just wanted to make it really real for you. We can even customize it to whatever company name, whatever, make it even an adventure race, So it's all about also collaboration. So combining, I'm very, very, very big on this. When you're able to collaborate, when you're able to have fusion, or what I like to teach, yes, I teach also, cross-pollination. So combining technology and the world of travel to me is a beautiful cross-pollination where you don't have to look at the same industry. You can actually look outside for ideas and combine it and put it together. So 1 + 1 = 3. So yeah, there you have it. I hope you were able to learn a thing or two. If anything, do know that really at the end of this all, blue skies really means greener travels. That's what it is. Everyone is talking about it, especially internationally. It's really the way to move forward and what everyone is trying to push and practice. So my name is Chal Lontoc-Del Rosario. I hope you learned so much from my presentation. If you didn't, at least you had fun. You can check me out on @ChalChang, that's on Instagram, @Geron on Instagram or on Facebook, and our website, www.gerontravel.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Before I go, I will just leave you with this. This is very important because this is also taught to me by my teacher, my mentor, Miss Emily from Netherlands, in terms of restarting tourism. There are no passengers on Spaceship Earth. We are all crew. So this is also by Marshall McLuhan. Let me just repeat that again. There are no passengers on Spaceship Earth. We are all crew. Meaning we're not just here to sit down and experience the ride. We're all here to make a difference and change in whatever industry that we're in. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow, let us all give our warmest virtual applause and heart emojis for Miss Chal Lontoc-Del Rosario. Thank you so much, Miss Chal, for sharing your journey and your expertise in the subject. And we were very grateful for that virtual tool and the sneak peek that you have shown all of our dear Ka-Easterns. And now our dear Ka-Easterns also have an idea on who to call for their next travel getaways and plans. Wow. And again, I know all of you were all ears during Miss Chal's presentation. But guys, did you also see the questions in the chat? I sure hope you did. And if you got the correct answer, then you will have a chance to win 500 peso worth of vouchers from Giftaway. Wow. Winners will be announced in the chat. So make sure, again, that your username is easily identifiable and it is the same name that you used when you registered for this webinar. Okay, so now mga Ka-Eastern, after that information-filled presentation that we all learned a thing or two from, now is the time for you to cheer some more because it is time for our raffle. Yes, so a quick reminder to all of our attendees, the moment you signed up or signed in for our e-huddle automatically earns you or gives you a chance to win our raffle prizes for this afternoon. Woo-hoo! Thank you so much, Eastern Communications. So again, mga Ka-Eastern, focus your eyes on the screen right now because once we flash the names of the winners, you have to take a screenshot or a photo of your name flashed on screen, and then you have to send it to marketing@etpi.com.ph with the subject line Eastern E-Huddle April 21, 2022 raffle. And then, of course, do not forget to include your information like your full name, your company address, and of course, your contact number. And for this afternoon, okay, we will be drawing 2 lucky e-huddle participants who will be getting or receiving 2,000 peso worth of e-gift voucher from Giftaway. Wow. Okay, so if you wish to see your names on screen, our dear Easterns, as our raffle winners, let us flood our comment section with heart emoji, okay, or maybe a clover leaf emoji for good luck, okay? All right, so I know that you guys are ready and excited for this one, so we won't keep you waiting any longer. All right, our first winner who will be taking home 2,000 peso worth of e-voucher from Giftaway is none other than congratulations, Mr. Jervis Cabalce. Sir Jervis, you are our first minor raffle winner. You will be taking home 2,000 peso worth of Giftaway e-voucher. Congratulations once again, Jervis Cabalce. And I know, mga ka-Eastern, you are all at the edge of your seats right now, so we won't keep the revelation any longer. Okay, our second winner of an e-gift certificate worth 2,000 peso from Giftaway is... Who is our second lucky winner? Let's see. Congratulations to Mr. Von Umali. Sir Von, you are joining Sir Jervis Cabalce. You two are our first lucky winners of the 2,000 peso worth of e-gift vouchers from Giftaway. Again, a big congratulations to our winners. And for those of you, mga ka-Eastern, who wants to snag their very own Giftaway vouchers, all you have to do is stay tuned for the next round of raffle, where we will be giving away a much bigger prize later in the program. So now, that is something to smile about, right? Not being able or not being called during the first raffle. So type yes if you want to be our next raffle winner, mga ka-Eastern. I want to see a lot of yeses in our comment section, okay? But if you want to stay on the safer side of things and win an easy prize, make sure to check out the question we posted in the chat box now. And if you answered it correctly, you have a chance to win a prize, of course, from Eastern Communications. They have been spoiling you guys, so enjoy it and take advantage of it. All right? Okay, so again, advance congratulations to all of our winners. And now, mga Eastern, let us take a breather from all the talks about raffle just for a minute, okay? And let us take a good look at reimagining resilience. You know that the pandemic became the wake-up call to organizations to speed up innovation, technology, etc., etc., and yet we are not sure if it's going to last. Thank goodness our next speaker will take us back to the basics as well as the complexities of adapting to the new business environment. Our next speaker is the head of the strategic segment marketing of Eastern Communications, here to talk about the art of resilience. Mga ka-Eastern, let us all welcome him with a big virtual applause and heart emojis, our very own Sir Tonie Casas.
Thank you, Apple. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for sharing your time with us this afternoon. I'm Tonie Casas. I am the Strategic Marketing Head of Eastern Communications, and the topic that I will be sharing this afternoon is the art of resilience, the A to Z of business readiness. As we know, the pandemic has changed the way we all do business. In fact, at the very least, we already know how things have changed during the lockdowns and more. Moreover, the consumer insights that you will see later on can also help us understand how businesses are evolving to changes in consumer behavior. According to IDC's 2022 report on the current state of consumers in the APAC region, future consumers are forever connected by integrated lifestyle products and services, digital platforms, and applications. The pandemic has accelerated the consumer digital transformation in terms of how consumers live, work, and play. Lifestyle products and services, digital platforms, and applications have proliferated over the past 2 years. Applications for well-being such as MindNation and Nike Fitness app, for entertainment such as YouTube and TikTok, and for housing such as Lamundi, and many other applications which I won't mention anymore. Furthermore, the pandemic has made digital further established into millennials' lives. These digital natives are connected and have greater collective awareness and are more likely to act on this awareness. Consumer digital transformation will therefore further empower millennials in living more purposeful lifestyle through the forces of consumption. The first one is conscious. Millennial consumers have become more conscious with the products and services they purchase. For example, when they decide to buy a certain brand, they want to buy something that is in, trendy, or acceptable by one's peers or barkada based on what they see in their social media newsfeeds. Second is cherished. This refers to how much consumers value the products or services they purchase, or simply put, their brand affinity to the brand. One example is when consumers collect different kinds of shoes, wherein they place a special value on them because of their collectability. Nowadays, special groups and forums focused on specific interests have flourished in social media, allowing people to share their interests or exchange items missing in their collections. And third is curated. This refers to the consumer's preference for personalized experiences. An example would be when a consumer buys a challenging board game. It shows that they are problem solvers and are willing to purchase those products because they want to challenge their own intellect. Board game apps have become popular during the pandemic where people from different geographic locations play with each other. And lastly, careful. Careful refers to how consumers have become more discerning of the products they buy. With information readily available digitally, researching and evaluating similar products have become easier, such as when they choose which phones or gadgets they want to buy. The COVID-19 pandemic has also narrowed the digital divide between age demographics. Aside from millennials, it forced consumers aged 55 years old and above to adopt technology as a primary means of accessing information, healthcare, and consumption. IDC predicts that 60% of the silver generation who use digital during COVID-19 will continue to do so, thereby narrowing the digital divide in technology adoption across age demographics. So, after seeing all these shifts and changes in consumer behavior because of the pandemic, it is projected that these changes in consumer behavior are here to stay. IDC's research shows that in the APAC region, business organizations believe consumer behavior will likely be permanently changed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and organizations are reinventing experiences, leveraging on data, technology, and their ecosystems. So based on their Pulse survey, 47 of organizations are seeing how customer data is increasingly available as consumers have shifted more to digital. They believe that more and more information are now available online, which leads them into shifting more into digital. 46% of organizations surveyed believe that companies must adapt and personalize the customer experience using data, analytics, and artificial intelligence, where companies must learn to adapt to the customer's behavior by use of data and analytics to further predict how their consumers will shift and how the company can satisfy those said shifts with their products and services. 44% of organizations surveyed also believe that companies should expand to digital self-service customer engagement models. This is to promote the use of business models that encourages consumers to engage more on the products and services of the company offers. And finally, 43% expect customer privacy concerns and regulatory scrutiny to increase. Of course, consumers will expect full data privacy and security regarding their data and information when shifting to digital. Additionally, the behavior of consumers are also driven by new patterns of technology-enabled consumption, ultimately shaped by digital native businesses that leverage on their brand's existing popularity and pivot into services that fit seamlessly into the customer's shifting needs. This shows an idea on how companies can plan out their future projects, especially focusing on the behaviors that can specifically affect their target audience. Over the top, outpaces linear TV consumption. This means that cable TV is now being left behind by streaming platforms and other streaming sites such as Netflix, YouTube, HBO Go, Signal TV app, Spotify podcast, and other more. Purposeful lifestyle. This is related to something befitting to one's purpose and also relate to their own personal lifestyle. Recently, of course, we've seen micromobility booms here in Metro Manila. This is due to the high traffic in certain areas. Consumers are now using e-scooters and even e-bikes as a mode for transportation from one place to another. And this is also due to the rising cost of fuel, as reinforcing this particular trend. Another big change in consumer behavior is how the silver generation is narrowing their digital gap with younger consumers, wherein we see an increase of boomers using technology throughout the pandemic. Voice-enabled AI assistants shows a trend with AI support in households such as Alexa, Google support, and even Siri. Another popular shift in behavior is a fitness shift from offline to online, wherein the use of applications for exercising and staying fit indoors has increased during the pandemic. We see consumers watching YouTube videos, download fitness apps, and follow influencers to learn exercises and to keep fit indoors. And with everything shifting to digital, we also have e-wallets such as GCash and Paya to store digital currency for easier transactions. And finally, there's also the rise of wearables for saving lives, wherein smartwatches that regulate and keep track of your health are becoming a trend. With all the changes in consumer digital behavior, we see more and more consumers spending time on the internet. Based on the 2022 Digital Philippines report, there's a steady growth of 9.5% in internet usage over the past 11 years. Filipinos spend an average of 10 hours on the internet during the pandemic, using a wide variety of devices from laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. And according to the same report, around 55% of the time, consumers are using mobile data to access the internet, and 45% of the time using Wi-Fi or fixed broadband. This data just goes to show the ever-increasing importance and influence of the internet to people's lives, which was also accelerated by the pandemic. Truly, the pandemic helped us realize that there are ways of doing things more efficiently and more effectively by using online applications and services. Because of COVID-19, we have seen how both consumers and businesses have accelerated their digital transformation. We have seen how businesses accelerated the adoption of the digital tools so that they can provide services to consumers during the pandemic, as previously presented in the earlier slides. We have also seen how businesses leverage on various digital platforms that brought on the proliferation of applications such as social media, e-commerce platforms, online banking, and delivery applications, which were utilized heavily to help businesses recover. During the pandemic, usage of productivity and collaboration tools helped teams communicate, manage projects and tasks, and share and store files more efficiently as organizations shifted to a hybrid work arrangement. Such productivity and collaboration tools is Microsoft O365. It aids you to do online meetings, team messaging, shared file storage, and collaborative content creation. As more and more business transactions are done online, the need for businesses and consumers to be protected from online threats become a priority. In 2021, around 300,000 malwares were created daily to target individuals and organizations. Social engineering attacks such as phishing are the most prevalent and dangerous type of cyber attacks, as they are the most deceptive and tricky. According to Cisco's 2021 Cybersecurity Trends Report, about 90% of data breaches occur due to phishing. Spear phishing is the most common type of phishing attack, comprising 65% of all phishing attacks. The 2021 Teshan research revealed that employees receive an average of 14 malicious emails every year. Remember that the biggest asset in this digital age is one, your company information, which is a combination of your strengths, your magic formulas, or your I would say secret recipes that give you your competitive advantage. And two, your customer information, which is your source of your insights for your programs and future promotions. Hence, having cybersecurity protection in place is key to having a worry-free operations. So after all the insights for both consumer and business, how do we prepare for 2022? So here are our takeaways based on the previous slides. First is complete your digital transformation. With the pandemic and the reopening of the economy in 2021, many businesses paused their digital transformation for the time being. Despite all uncertainties, the one certain thing is that the future will happen online. Virtual communication, hybrid working, and digital commerce have been front and center of most companies' business strategies. Instead of halting digital transformation, your business should accelerate its approach for 2022. Your team should be able to maximize the collaboration tools available. So have you considered moving your applications or your business data to the cloud and leverage on its benefits on scalability, cost effectiveness, or accessibility? Two, adjust to new social media practices. Filipinos spend more than 10 hours a day on the internet. So it is no news that social media usage is growing across all platforms. As users evolve, posting traditional content will not be enough. You need to adjust to new social media trends and practices. Perhaps looking more into YouTube or TikTok content will boost higher engagement. Third is get real with your website. Since consumers gather information more online, your website nowadays is your 24/7 salespeople. They should address an effective solution to customers, not only address issues. Make it user-friendly in a way that customers can easily take action. Guide them to booking pages or contact forms. Provide them with web chat or have an online purchasing page. Make sure your website provides an interactive experience and update it regularly. In addition, worldwide search engines are becoming more and more important each year. The right CEO marketing strategy will increase the amount of organic traffic to your page. As a result, this will help boost your sales since you'll have more prospective buyers that end up on your page. Fourth, talk to your customers. Stay connected. Observing and talking to your customers is not a one-time strategy. Their behaviors and experiences change, especially with the pandemic. It's a good idea to connect to them and meet their needs. Good customer experience is one of the reasons why customers stay loyal to the brand as mentioned earlier. And lastly, stay protected. The internet has transformed the way people live and how organizations operate. Virtually connecting people anywhere in the world has made remote work, distance learning, e-commerce, telemedicine, and online banking, among others, possible. With the pandemic, digital transformation was accelerated for both consumer and business organizations. As digital technologies advance, so do cybersecurity threats and attacks. Cybersecurity protection is no longer just nice to have. It has become a necessity for every organization protecting the biggest asset of business in this digital economy, which is your business information. So in this digital economy, it is important to be on top of new trends in your industry and to be with the right partner like Eastern Communications for your connectivity, collaboration productivity tools, cloud and cybersecurity requirements that will help your business prepare for the new normal. So once again, this is Tonie Casas, and thank you for listening to me this afternoon. Back to you, Apple.
Thank you, Sir Tonie Casas, for once again enlightening us more about the ways of work that service and tools providers do and how as we consumers behave and the services that we utilize, especially for those of us who are not as tech savvy, including myself. All right, thank you again, sir. And now, mga ka-Eastern, we have heard our two speakers share their knowledge and expertise. So it's now time, mga ka-Eastern, for you to ask them the questions that you've been keeping in for a while now. So our speakers are now ready to entertain your questions, and we are inviting them again to join me on our virtual stage. Okay, so we're going to be welcoming back Ms. Chal Lontoc-Del Rosario and, of course, our very own Sir Tonie Casas. Mga ka-Eastern, a big round of applause for our speakers, or let it put in heart emojis in the chat box now. And if you haven't sent us your questions yet, you may do so by typing it in our chat box now. Okay, so hi, Ms. Chal. Hi, Sir Tonie. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, Apple. Hi, Chal.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Apple. Good afternoon to everyone.
Okay, so before we get down to business of the Q&A session that we promised our ka-Easterns, I just want to ask you, Ms. Chal and Sir Tonie, how did you spend your Holy weekend? Ms. Chal?
Okay, I'll go ahead. True to my motto in life, experience life through travel, I traveled with my family and, of course, had a meaningful time with them.
That's so nice to hear, Ms. Chal. Actually, myself, we just booked a hotel stay, but again, it's a memorable moment for all of us, especially when the kids are, cooped up at home doing their online classes. So it's really a great change of scenario and a great change of moods for the children. Thank you, Ms. Chal, for sharing. And of course, we want to hear, Sir Tonie, how did you spend your Holy Week?
Oh, me naman, my family and I went visit the Iglesia on Thursday. Then Friday, we just heard the Mass on TV. So it's very simple lang. Very spend time with the family.
All right, great, Sir Tonie. Actually, we also did visit one or two churches, but we conceded on the third one. There was a lot of line. There was a sea of people in the churches that were actually on our list to visit. But it was fruitful, it was meaningful, and it was a beautiful Holy Week spent with the family. And again, maraming salamat, Ms. Chal and Sir Tonie, for sharing your Holy Week with all of us. So now getting down to the business. Okay, so we have a couple of questions from our dear ka-Easterns for the two of you. So we have one general question which will be answered by Ms. Chal, to be followed by Sir Tonie. So this one is from our dear ka-Eastern. Okay, so this is a question, Ms. Chal. Can you give my business 3 important tips for the new normal?
Wow, okay. There's a lot, but this is based on my personal experience. I'm a firm believer of following your curiosity. What that means is that whatever you're curious with, go ahead and follow that. It might lead you to something. Oftentimes kasi people say follow your passion, but hindi naman lahat ng negosyo or hindi naman lahat ng ginagawa natin is because we're so passionate about it. Kung wari, ang negosyo mo ay gumawa ng wiring, hindi ka naman passionate sa mga alambre, di ba? So I think a better way to do things is to follow your curiosity. And same thing during this recovery for the pandemic. What makes you curious? For example, listening to Tonie earlier on talk about, technology, how it's developing, how it's helping us. That made me very curious. And follow that, if you want to do further research and then see how you can apply it to your own personal lives and businesses and work and career. So that's the first one. Second one would be to keep learning. Don't stop learning. As cliche as it may sound, wag titigil talaga because things are changing so fast, There's no hard line between the past, the present, and the future, but it's really like watercolors, how do I say this? Mixing up very well. And the next thing you know, you're there already in the future. So don't stop learning. Even at my age, even at where I am right now, I still am learning. I'm still attending classes. I still listen nonstop. I still try to get my certificates, so on and so forth. Kaya kanina, when Tonie was talking, kinig na kinig ako, diba? And then the third one is know your data and numbers. I think people tend to forget this part. So, maganda yung inspired ka, curious ka, you're passionate about something also, and you're learning, but at the same time, you have to know how to apply all of these. And one of the ways to do that is also know your numbers and your data. Hindi naman pwedeng we are just continuing on with our lives to recover without knowing these facts. For example, nung malakas yung COVID, especially, lahat tayo, we were tracking the number of infected COVID, yung mga, di ba? All these numbers were coming out in the data. And we were using that. Lalabas ba ako? Papasok ba ako? And same thing with our lives, you know. We have to know our numbers. Ano ba budget natin? Ano ba ang kailangan nating mangyari? Ano ba, based on the data, ano ba gusto ng mga kliyente natin? Di ba? Tony talked about that earlier on, the getting feedback from what our clients would like also. So we have to know this data and then learn to apply it. So 3 things. Naku, madaldal ako. Kaya ko pa, pero we'll stick to 3.
Thank you, Ms. Chal. So to our dear Ka-Eastern who gave out that question, it's curiosity, never stop learning, and of course, know your numbers and your data, because that's the only metric that you need to scale if you need to scale your business. Right? And again, maraming salamat, Ms. Chal. So now we're moving on to Sir Tony. So the question is the same. Sir Tony, can you please give my business 3 important tips for the new normal?
Okay. Thank you, Apple. So, okay. So the 3 tips which I believe are important. So, okay. So first, make sure that everything you do in your company, whether digital transformation related or not, is driven by consumer insight. Now, more than ever, there is really a need to maintain a constant line of communication with our customers, considering the behavioral changes that have been brought upon us because of this pandemic. So this will help our companies come up with better products and solutions, as well as our the process initiatives that will contribute to a positive customer experience. Second, we have to start thinking of digital transformation as a continuing iterative process instead of a one-time event. You can do your digital transformation in phases, and you have to focus on what your most important key imperatives are. Make sure to complete the loop of planning, executing, and monitoring the strategies. Only by doing so will your IT investments translate to real, tangible results for your business. And lastly, do not be afraid of taking calculated risks. Okay? So there's a lot of information from the internet at our disposal. We just need to sift through the information that we get and look for credible sources, whether it be for business or technology. So that being said, try to be optimistic about emerging with all the challenges we overcame in the past 2 years and the learnings that we now enjoy. There's no way to go but up. And that's it. Back to you, Apple.
Thank you, Sir Tony. And sir, yes, it's a resounding yes, especially when you mention about, investing in digital transformation, because most or some of our business owners might be thinking, oh, maybe I'm just shelling out money. It's kind of a waste. I can do this on my own. There are services that are somehow free that I can take advantage of, but really they have to shift the mindset that it's not just you're letting out money. It is an investment for your business. Thank you so much, Ms. Chal and Sir Tony. So now I'm going to be asking specific questions for each of you, Ms. Chal and Sir Tony. So the first one would be from our Ka-Eastern. This is for Ms. Chal. Okay, so let me read a question, Ms. Chal. If you had to make a number 1 rule of the most important rules of recovering in this new normal, Ms. Chal, what would it be?
I think the number 1 rule is really mindsetting. And I speak from experience. With everything that happened from 2020 to 2022, napaka-importante na we really do a mindset. Doon nagsisimula eh. Kasi we can be bombarded with so much information, so much bad news, so much fake news as well, so much of everything that we can get nakakabaliw. You don't know, especially during the peak of the pandemic, hindi natin alam kung anong mangyayari. So when we set our minds, teka lang, let me clean up what's coming in, the information that's coming in. I want to just improve my business, or I want to just grow and scale. I want to do better with my numbers. Then once we're able to narrow that down, nasa-set natin yung mind natin na, hindi to para sa akin, hindi ko muna pakikinggan to. Ito, okay to, this will serve my purpose. So I think that's the very, very key thing that everyone did. It didn't matter if it was the CEO of the top 500 Fortune companies, or a small SME or may-ari ng tindahan, everyone had to set their mind na kaya ko to, I will get through this. And now, iba naman yung mind setting, di ba? It's, kailangan ko ng from kawawa stage, from teka, grabe yung pandemic. I have to move on. I have to think about the future. I have to digitize. I have to improve everything that I'm doing right now. Kailangan ko tanggalin yung pag-iisip na may pandemya pa rin, or that na lahat tayo affected pa rin ng pandemya. So I have to move out from that and move into a abundant mindset. So iba-iba yan. But regardless of what it is, yung iba kasi, this is not a race. This is a marathon. This is not just a marathon. Ano ba yun? Race or marathon? Regardless, this is for the long run. Ayon. Hindi lang to short time, di ba? So regardless of what it is, ang importante for me is the mind setting. Once you've set your mind, then that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Chal, for sharing that one. Good point, ma'am. Mind setting talaga. I mean, it's not bad to shift your perspective, lalo na if the environment that we are in is continuously evolving. So the ideas that you had before that were working might not work anymore at this current situation. So again, Eastern, who asked that question, top of my priority, mind setting. Thank you, Ms. Chal. And now we're going to be moving on to the next question. So this one is for Sir Tonie. Okay, Sir Tonie, are you ready? Okay. So the question from our Ka-Eastern is, my company is slowly going back to work. So what solutions do you think would be important during these times?
Okay, thank you, Apple. Okay, so it would really depend on your company's need. But I guess I will focus on the three main stakeholders that companies usually focus on, which are first, your vendors, suppliers, and partners. Second, your employees and colleagues, and third, your customers. So at Eastern, for example, we use a scalable, reliable, and secure connectivity solution to ensure we are easily accessible by our vendors and customers. So we use Internet Direct Service, or IDS, for our daily operations. So this provides us the agility to make transactions and to respond to queries, even if we are employing a hybrid setup right now. Now, specifically for our employees, we use collaboration and productivity tools such as Office 365. This allows us to share files and collaborate real time. We also use Microsoft Teams, okay, for chats and virtual meetings namin, and file sharing as well. And lastly, with the need to manage limited resources and cut down on IT spends, you may also siguro explore using cloud-based solutions or platforms such as Eastern Cloud. This will help you shift from front-loaded heavy IT CapEx investments to a license-based OpEx model. Eastern Cloud, by the way, is a highly customizable cloud solution that is also affordable compared to other services in the market. So, but again, at the end of the day, the solutions that you will need will really depend on the unique requirements of your business. So on that note, I'd like to invite you to talk to us, especially to our Eastern account managers who are always willing to help, to lend a helping hand for your IT consultation. So that's it. Thank you for that question, Apple.
Thank you so much, Sir Tonie. So to our dear Ka-Eastern, Sir Tonie have mentioned a couple of solutions for your current queries. So all you have to do, like what Sir Tonie said, you can check us out on our website, and we're also on Facebook and on Instagram. All you have to do is type in EasternCom PH, and you can send us a message there. Thank you so much, Sir Tonie. And now we're going to be moving on with the second question for Ms. Chal. Okay, Ms. Chal, here it is. Okay, when do you think the tourism industry will stop recovering and start growing? And when will we be able to experience pre-pandemic travel again?
First of all, people are already traveling now, no? Lahat, yung mga tao nagta-travel na rin, whether it's by car, whether it's by boat, or by plane, international or domestic. So nangyayari na siya. I think there's just really just two main difference. One is the requirements. Kailangan siguro magpa-RT-PCR or antigen sometimes. Kailangan magsuot ng mask in certain places pa rin. And the other one, of course, is to still do extra caution both ways from everyone, no? So seeing that, iniisip ko na lang na parang ay para ka nag-apply lang ng visa, may mga requirements lang before you travel. So there's no hard line na wala na, tapos na yung pandemic. It won't happen that way. I'm not a scientist, but like what I've said, I love learning, so I really check this out. Wala siyang parang fine line. It's like watercolors, like I've mentioned, na blending in from one another. It's like when you fall in love with someone, di ba? Walang exact date na on January 1, 2022 na in love ako sa'yo. It grows, it grows, it changes, it develops all throughout. Like how we also grow physically, di ba? Hindi naman pagising mo, wow, alam mong 1 inch ka. Bigla na lang over time, it happens, pero in gradual motion. So it's not really something we can define, but what's important is that it's already happening slowly and surely.
Thank you, Ms. Chal, and thank you, Sir Tony. I think we have serve the questions from our ka-Easterns right now. Maraming salamat once again to our ka-Easterns for sending in your questions. And of course, Ms. Chal and Sir Tony, maraming salamat po for sharing your expertise with us. But before I let you chill, we want to hear, our dear ka-Easterns want to hear your parting messages for all of us who are listening right now. So now we're going to be starting off with Ms. Chal.
Thank you, Apple. I guess since this is all about reimagining resilience, it's all about moving upwards and onwards, right? So I would say that don't be afraid to cross-pollinate. Like what I said, this is something that I teach in workshops, businesses and individuals. When I say cross-pollinate, getting ideas from another thing and mixing it with yours. So kahit na siguro hindi kayo travel industry, don't worry. I'm sure may napulot kayo. Kunin nyo yon, whatever you were curious with, and apply it with what you're doing. And the same thing goes with being, digitizing and, going digital and really applying technology in your daily lives and work as well. To be honest, hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa rin ma-perfect ang Excel. Mahina pa rin ako sa Excel. But I had to face a lot of changes as well in terms of going online. You saw naman our project, diba, with Tour It Yourself, going mobile, also our website. So don't be afraid with that. Like what Sir Tony said, take risks. That's what resilience is really all about. It's about being dynamic. Hindi na tayo pwede sa isang sulok lang, ito lang ang nagagawa ko, ito lang ako, dito lang ako magaling. It can't be that way. Resilience, especially nowadays, it's about being able to be dynamic, diba? Kung ano man to, kung accounting, kung marketing, kung being a digital officer, whichever it is, we have to be able to kind of collaborate and move together things so that we can apply it anywhere in our lives. So yun lang, stay resilient, things are getting better, and don't forget, of course, that things have to really cross-pollinate. I keep saying it because people don't understand it. Not everyone does. So it's very important that, baka kasi yung message ko ng high-tech, sabihin nila, okay, just become digital. No, you have to have both. Like what I said in my talk, it's supposed to be an and, A and D. Hindi siya or. Kailangan combine siya. The human heart, the human soul with everything about the future and being, and everything to do with technology has to be together. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Chal. And Sir Tony?
Thank you, Apple. Actually, I completely 100% agree with what Chal said a while ago. So, totally agree ako, Chal, sa sinabi mo. So, I won't add anything more. I think I've said naman, my message a while ago. So as my last message, I'd just like to thank again everyone for spending your afternoon with us. And we look forward to emerging stronger with you this 2022. So talk to us, guys. Don't hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Chal Lontoc-Del Rosario and Sir Tonie Casas. Maraming salamat po. And mga ka-Eastern, a virtual applause for our speakers, Miss Chal Del Rosario Lontoc and Sir Tonie Casas. Maraming salamat po ulit. And wow, okay. So we are done with our Q&A. That was an exciting one, mga ka-Eastern. So our speakers surely came prepared to answer all of your question. And that was a real treat for all of us, right? Especially those taking notes, like myself, okay? Sino dyan yung mga nag-take notes? Raise your hand. All right. Okay. So, now before we proceed to another thrilling part of our e-huddle, mga ka-Easterns and friends, your feedback matters to us. So please do take the time to answer our survey through the QR code flashed on your screen right now. And after filling out the survey, 50 lucky winners will get a special token from Eastern Communications. Grabe, this e-huddle is surely a gift that keeps on giving. Thank you so much, Eastern Communications. Okay, so mga ka-Eastern, you still have time to scan that QR, and now it's gone. Okay, and while we're still on a happy and a natural high, knowing that there will be tokens out for 50 ka-Easterns after filling out that survey form, so we're here to give you more, mga ka-Eastern, because as promised earlier, right now, we are about to draw the winner of our major raffle prize, and our major raffle prize winner will win an e-gift certificate worth 3,000 pesos from Giveaway. Woo-hoo! Wow, this is super exciting. Okay. And mga ka-Eastern, the winner must take a screenshot of the announcement on the screen when you see your name, and then you have to send it to marketing@etpi.com.ph with the subject line Eastern e-huddle. So 21 April 2022 raffle. That's the date for today. And do not forget your information like your full name, your company address, and your contact number. All right, I guess our ka-Easterns are so eager and excited to know who our major raffle winner is. So now, guys, we won't keep you waiting. Direct, are we ready to flash the name of our winner? Yes? All right, let's start. And the major raffle prize winner to take home an e-gift certificate worth 3,000 peso from Giveaway is, of course, the very lucky Miss Gigi Benoyo. Miss Gigi, take your time. Take a screenshot of your name being flashed on the screen now. Wow, congratulations, Miss Gigi. You now have 3,000 pesos more to spend on the things you love. Okay, and that is from Giveaway e-gift voucher. Again, big congratulations, everyone. Wow, grabe. This is a great way to spend this beautiful Thursday afternoon with Eastern Communications and syempre with you, our dear ka-Easterns. Amazing prizes and even more amazing winners. So again, congratulations to all of you. Oh, before we get carried away, mga ka-Eastern, how about those in the chat? Were you guys able to answer the questions? I sure hope you guys did. And again, a big congratulations to all of you too. Big clap to all of you guys. And of course, now it is time to wrap up today's e-huddle. Thank you to Eastern Communications for giving us this opportunity to be molded with resilience in mind. This is Reimagining Resilience a la Eastern Communications. I hope you all had a blast today, mga ka-Eastern. And of course, before we let you go, I just want to remind you that you still have the time for this one. So we will be sending out again a survey from you or for you to get your feedback and of course to make sure that we are able to improve on our e-huddle webinars. So after filling out the survey, again, 50 lucky winners will get a special prize from Eastern Communications. And syempre, congratulations in advance to all of our ka-Eastern today. All right. So once again, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us today. This has been Apple Grace Mendoza, your host, and we will be seeing you again for the next eHuddle Reimagining Resilience series. Bye, guys.